if I recall from the pre-show notes, you said that you personally like traditional dating. Do you consider yourself traditional?
As far as my work, no. Okay. But it's like, in my personal life, yes. Like, I like traditional, roles, with a man.
What does that look like?
For me, it's just like a man that's dominant, that will approach me, that has something that maybe I don't have. Like, I don't know, like, that can bring, like, me happiness. And, like, it's just, for me, I feel like I do better in relationships where the man is the dominant one. Like, even simple things like planning a date instead of, leaving it up to me. You know what I mean? Like, I just like that dominant role in being the submissive one in a relationship.
So then, other than naming a thing, which is reciprocal, what I mean by reciprocal is, if I ask you this question, what do you bring to the table then that you would want this from a man? Without naming a trait which is going to be reciprocal, meaning he's bringing the same thing, what of value are you going to be bringing to this relationship?
I feel like that's subjective only because
Totally
the man...
subjective, sure.
Well, the man would decide that. So it's like, if he doesn't think I'm good enough to date him...
Well, no. In this case, I'm asking you what you think. I assume that he's going to... That this potential guy is going to come up with all sorts of different metrics for whatever those are. But you specifically, from your perception, what would you be bringing?
Ulysses the Pagan donated $200. Part of the feminist indoctrination, they put a chips in Gen Z and Alpha's head, overriding their cerebral cortex, making them say woman as the plural for motives only known by Nancy Pelosi and Mahsa Amini.
Yeah, that's definitely about me.
I don't get it. What does that mean?
Thank you, Pagan. For the
he's saying that when Gen Z women are born, the doctor puts a microchip in their brain, which causes a short circuit along their cerebral cortex. So when they say woman as a plural form of women, that's why.
It's a troll comment.
Okay.
Wait, you don't believe that?
No.
That's because he's trolling.
No, I know.
You didn't know. You can't play it off now. You messed it all up. You can't play it off.
I'm just a girl.
You were so close. So close. Anyway, so back to this question. Yeah, what would you be bringing to the table, do you think, that is non-reciprocal?
So, like, if a man sees me on the street or something, like, what would be the traits that he would see that would draw him in?
No. What would you be bringing to the table that he wouldn't be bringing to the table?
In the context of what? Like, I'm confused.
Of a relationship.
Like, as far as, like, the maturity?
Anything.
I mean, I don't know. It's just, like, I'm trying to be, like, open without thinking about, like, too, like, narrow-minded, like, you know what I mean?
Can you restate back to us the multiple traits that you listed out that you want in a man?
I was saying I like a dominant man.
Yep.
Is established, mature, and I guess not an asshole. I don't know.
But so it's very easy for you to answer what you're looking for. But why is it a little harder for, like, here's all the traits that I want in a guy. Why can't you just as easily say, here's what I'm bringing?
So what are those things?
I mean, for me personally, like, it's definitely hard to, like, narrow things down because, like,
but you don't seem to have any trouble narrowing them down for what you want.
Right, because that's in my perspective of what I want. But it's like, it's hard for us as people to reflect that inward and know what traits. You know what I mean?
Really? Wait a second.
In my opinion, because I can easily...
Wait, don't you know yourself the best? You've been living with yourself for 19 years. You know everything there is to know about you. So how would you not be able, if you're looking externally about men who I might not even know, I want X, Y, Z. But why can't you just list out, well, here's what I'm bringing. Here's me. This is what I bring.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Like, it's just hard to, like...
Okay, that's fair.
You know, I think it's just the phrasing is.
Let me ask the second part of the question. What baggage would you bring?
Baggage? I mean, relationship-wise or just in general? Relationship? Baggage-wise, I mean, I guess if they were to look at my sexual things, like I guess body count or my profession, the fact that I don't have a lot of relationship experience, I think age could also play a factor because that comes with the lack of experience.
So we have at least four pieces of baggage.
Right.
Can we get one positive that you're going to be bringing to this relationship that's non-reciprocal?
From what men have told me, like in my personal life, they like me because I'm honest with them. I'm funny, like in my personal life.
Those are reciprocal traits, though. You would expect honesty as you're getting honesty, right?
Right.
So that's a reciprocal trait. It's a non-reciprocal trait that you think you would bring.
Something that would benefit him, no? By being with you?
That's why I was saying it's up to the individual. Like, I'm not going to be like, I don't know, like, I'm just not like, I don't have like a giant ego. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to be like, oh, he's going to get to date the baddest bitch around and blah, blah, blah. Like, to me, that's subjective to whatever man I'm dating or whatever man finds interest. It's up to him to find those traits in me that he is attracted to. And that's different for everybody.
Wait, so
How
so
about,
nothing?
like, I feel like I have like just a different question that kind of would give the same answer. Like, what do you think a traditional man who's dominant, who's a provider, and all those things you listed would want in a woman?
Did she say, I don't know if she said provider, although that would be an entailment of being
Traditional.
Do you want a provider? Okay. So that, I'm assuming you want a guy to pay for the first date, right?
To lead.
You want a guy to pay,
That's what she said.
would you want a guy to pay for like subsequent dates too? Like provider.
Yeah, like, I mean, I think that comes with the dominant role.
Okay. So you would be submissive then? Mm-hmm. I assume that's what you would bring.
Right.
So I have a question. If you were dating a guy and he told you, I want you to stop doing, would you be submissive and listen to him?
If I loved someone, absolutely.
What if you didn't love him?
Then I would not stop. I
But
wouldn't
you're
be
in a
with
relationship
him.
with him.
I wouldn't be in a
Well,
relationship.
what if you don't love him yet?
That's possible.
That's pointless to me because I'm like, if we're not, I don't know, if I don't love you yet, I'm not going to quit my job for you.
Yeah, but somebody can grow to love somebody. That's very possible.
Right.
How about
But
if
I'm
he
not
doesn't
going
know
to
if he
cut
loves
off
you
my
yet?
financials because you told me.
He's providing.
Right. But it's like, I don't know. Like, I feel like I would want to be in love with someone for them to, like, cut off, like,
Or at least
what I do.
attraction, maybe not love, but like
Mhm.
attraction to them. Would you like give it up for them? Like,
She ain't
let's-
giving up.
Like,
And
let's
She
say
ain't
you're
giving
like
up
2 months
if she's
into
attracted
the
to a dude.
relationship.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm just attracted, like, I don't really care.
But
Like,
it's like, how long does it take for you to fall in love with someone?
I don't know. I haven't been in love.
Okay.
Yeah.
A week for me.
So
Wait.
the last question I got for you.
Mm-hmm.
Why would a traditional man who had those traditional traits and values want somebody who
See,
is
now
doing
I'm
porn?
understanding. Like, anyway, I'm not saying they would. I'm just saying what I like.
Yeah,
So
but-
it's like, for me, I'm not stupid. Like, I understand what I do as a job. I understand the way the world would view that in a negative light or whatever. And that, at the end of the day, that was my decision. So maybe it's harder for me to find a man
Sure.
that I want.
But let's circle.
You know
all,
what I mean?
We're going to circle all the way back now to the original question I asked you. Do you think that there's going to be any long-term ramifications from you doing porn? The response to this was everything except this answer, which is that it could definitely have significant problems when it came to the relationship that you would want with a man who had the traits, characteristics, and values that you're after. How come you left that out?
I wasn't thinking about that because most of the time when people bring it
You
up,
weren't
they always
thinking about it.
Well, they always bring up, oh, what about your family? What about your children? They're not thinking about like, oh,
Well,
what
I
about your
assume-
future relationships?
I assume you're going to have children with somebody you're in love with.
Yeah, of
Then
course.
you want that person to have those values, right?
Of course.
That comes before the kid, right?
Of course.
So if that
I
comes,
just-
so
I
that
didn't
comes
think about
before
that
the kid. There's a step-by-step process here.
Right.
The type of man that you're after for the values, aren't you hamstringing yourself?
I mean, no, because I mean, at the end of the day, if a dude doesn't want me back, I'm not gonna chase it. Like, I'm not gonna look stupid
Yeah,
like
but why
that.
would a man who had values, structured values, and was traditional, which is what you want, why would he want to be with a star?
Right. I'm not saying a traditional man has to be.
So how's that not hamstringing yourself?
Well, because it's like I grew up in a household that was a Christian household.
Sure.
And so maybe it's just the way I grew up that it's kind of ingrained in me to like certain traits in a relationship. I'm not saying that's an indefinite to what I'd be looking for. Like, let's say I find someone and they're not even like that at all, but I love them and it works for us, that's fine too.
Really? You think that you're going to be able to change things like you want them to be dominant, a provider, have traditional values? You really think you're going to change what you're attracted to? Really?
I mean, if you love somebody, yeah.
Andrew, can I ask you a
absolutely.
question on this? Can a guy be dominant and a provider, but not be traditional?
Yes.
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 So that's what I mean. That's where I kind of think about this. Part of me,
But there's an undercurrent here to look at. Yes. So in other words, I'm going to concede that this is logically possible.
right,
I don't ever see it though. Meaning that the types of men I think who desire to be in those roles generally seem to have a value structure which underpins why they want to be in those roles. Otherwise, what the hell would be the point? You just go out and be a promiscuous man and hump every chick you saw and lie to them, be a scumbag. There wouldn't really be any negative ramifications to that. So why not do that?
on the provider front, I do wonder though, like if there's like liberal cuck soy boy who's like just he's making nothing precludes a liberal cuck soy boy from making a ton of money.
No.
So they can fall into the provider role. It's not clear if the dominant component is a little more questionable.
But generally, but let me ask the counter to this.
yeah,
So the liberal cuck soy boy,
yeah,
why does he want to fall in the provider role?
that's a good question.
Maybe.
Well, it would occur to me
Maybe it's
that,
like instinct, because like, weren't you talking about like male instincts or something
Sure.
earlier? Like, what if it's just like ingrained from where they grew up?
I would think it would be instinct to not be a liberal cuck soy boy too, though, right? That seems instinctual, but maybe it's not just purely instinct. So if we're backing up, though, what would be the incentive for somebody who lives in modernity, a man who lives in modernity, makes tons of cash, right? And he doesn't see really any value in being a provider when he can just basically go out and hump whatever woman he wants. What would be the principal underpinning behind that? So you said you were raised in a Christian household, so you probably assume in your head the way that you think about it is it's supposed to be man, woman, children, devoted wife, right? Head of household, husband. These are the examples that you see.
Right.
Do you know why that becomes ingrained though? It's because those are examples that work. And so you look your whole life and you look around you and you see all kinds of examples that don't work. Traditionalism is really just the study of experiments that worked. That's an experiment that always works. Seems to work the best out of every other
It didn't
experiment.
work for my parents. That's
It
all.
doesn't always work.
Yeah.
Right? Of course not. But even if your parents split, that doesn't mean they won't enter into another traditional relationship with other people, right? So again, this is the experiment again seeming to work as it's supposed to. Even if with these two people it did not work, doesn't mean they're not going to look for a reformation for exactly that same kind of relationship again. That's the examples that we see that work the most. And so that's why we kind of are always looking at them and going, okay, why does this work? So
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, like that. I don't think that's relevant to like the original point, though.
I think it is, because what you're after is you seem to be after all the values of somebody who has an underpinning ethical system. The ethical system being, what are the things you value? Honesty, right? Integrity, honor. Part of that, the nature of I provide for woman, I take care of wife doesn't have to work, right? I'll kill myself at the factory every day to make sure the family's taken care of. There has to be some kind of underpinning there for ethics, right? Otherwise, why the hell would you do it?
Right.